5.4 yards per carry, the most in NFL history. Jamaal Charles had 5 seasons rushing over 1,000 yards and averaged 5 or more yards per attempt in each of those. The only other 2 players to do this, Barry Sanders and Jim Brown. That's production and efficiency many greats have never met, and that's with a team that went 26-44 during those years. Yet despite this dominance, the Chiefs refused to make him a full-time starter for some reason. He only started 6 games in 2010, 2 years after he was drafted. Despite not getting enough starts, he still averaged 6.42 yards per carry that season, the highest ever for a back with at least 200 carries. And that's while splitting the load with another running back. Thanks to Jamaal Charles, the Chiefs led the league in rushing and made the playoffs for the first time since 2006. But for the majority of his prime, the Chiefs were nothing short of trash. Charles was good at college but not a star. He was drafted in the 3rd round, so he didn't get much media attention. He only got 68 attempts in his rookie year. Despite making the most of this little play, he wouldn't get consistent starts until Larry Johnson was suspended and released. So they released Johnson just before week 9 in 2010. Up until that point, Charles only had 152 yards. He finished the season with 1,120. Yeah, he rushed for basically 900 yards in 7 games. Still, it was not until 2012, after his ACL tear, that the Chiefs fully committed to Charles. He thrived on the team with a pretty bad passing game. Matt Castle was the best quarterback during Charles' prime. While he made the Pro Bowl in 2010, let's not act like you're going to have much success with Castle at the helm. In 2014, Alex Smith didn't throw a single touchdown to a wide receiver. 18 touchdown passes, 5 to Kelsey and Charles, and a few to other tight ends and running backs, but 0 to a wide receiver. When Charles was utilized, he seemed to glide across the field. He could change direction effortlessly and weave through traffic, somehow coming out the other side. We know the cheetah, right? He recorded a 10.1900 meter time. Charles came in at 10.18. But Charles is not simply fast. Speed alone doesn't make you elite. One thing that separated him from the rest was his vision. I feel like this play is just vintage Charles. There seems to be nothing there, but he finds an opening, slips through, and is off to the races. There's no clear metric to measure vision. The closest I found was from PFF, which has a metric called vision yards. That is, rushing yards gained independent of blocking. It measures how well a running back reads the field, finds open space, and maximizes yards, even when blocking is not ideal. You can see here vision yards per attempt against Adrian Peterson, and it's much higher. And Charles had worse blocking for the most part during this 4-year period. That's not conclusive, but it supports the point being made. He had elite vision. Add to that, you have balance that allows for cuts like this. On ESPN's Sports Science, he completed 3 cuts in 1.2 seconds, the fastest time they ever recorded. His ability to run like a cheetah, then contort his body to cut direction and dodge defenders was unmatched. So the combination of these skills made Charles incredibly unique. I mean, look how shifty he is. Now, Adrian Peterson's ACL comeback got a lot of attention. And deservedly so, it was impressive. But nobody gave Charles any love. After suffering the same injury, an ACL tear, he came back the next season without missing a step, rushing for a career-high 1,509 yards on a 2-14 Chiefs team with the worst passing offense. A team that threw 8 touchdowns and 20 picks. But Jamaal Charles is accustomed to doubt and underappreciation. Diagnosed with a serious reading disability in 3rd grade, he once complained he wasn't getting enough playing time on the football team because they thought he was too dumb to understand the plays. But when he was 10, he competed in the Special Olympics and won gold in track and field. That gave him the confidence to keep going, no matter what. He finished his last 2 years of high school with over 4,000 rushing yards and 50 touchdowns. But still, he was told that his disability would prevent him from getting into college. Well, he made the Big 12 second team all-academic squad, so he can't be that dumb. Despite Charles being the one-man show of the Chiefs, and therefore teams focusing more so on him, he still managed to finish 4th in rushing in 2012. He was a very versatile back as well. PFF ranked Marshawn Lynch the 22nd best backfield blocker. LaShawn McCoy was 36, and Adrian Peterson was 46. Charles, despite weighing less than all of them, finished 12th in 2012. I mean, watch him decleat this poor man. Jamaal Charles doesn't get enough love for how good he was. The pre-Mahomes Chiefs were not talked about much, and with some pretty bad years, Charles is forgotten. After his second ACL tear, he couldn't get back to the peak performance, but to be fair, this was in 2015, so it was kind of past his prime. Despite 2 ACL tears, he managed to retire with the most yards per carry in history.